So this one time last year, I was chilling at home alone. It was this super cold winter night, and my parents were out visiting my grandparents for the weekend. I'm usually cool with being by myself, but that night it felt kind of spooky. Maybe it was the snowstorm that was whipping up outside. I was all cozied up in the living room, wrapped in a blanket, hot cocoa in hand, and watching some movie. The house was warm, a nice contrast to the blizzard raging outside. Earlier in the evening, I did my usual thing, checking all the locks on the doors and windows. But as the night went on, the wind outside started howling like something out of a horror movie. I tried to ignore it, but you know how it is when you're alone. Every little noise gets your imagination running wild. Then, out of nowhere, I heard this tapping sound. At first, I thought it was just tree branches hitting the window, but this tapping was different, more like someone was actually doing it on purpose. I paused the movie and just listened. The tapping was coming from the back door. My heart started racing. Who the fuck would be out there in this snowstorm? I said to myself. I tiptoed over to the kitchen, trying to be as quiet as possible, and peeked through the curtains. And there, in the darkness and the swirling snow, was this figure standing outside the door. Total freakout moment. We live pretty far out, and the nearest neighbor is miles away. I'm thinking, what the hell do I do now? Then I remembered my phone, but of course I'd left it charging upstairs. As I'm about to head upstairs, the tapping turns into this loud, urgent knocking. I'm rooted to the spot, my mind racing. Do I confront whoever it is, hide? Before I can decide, I hear glass breaking from the kitchen. That's when I bolt upstairs, lock myself in my room, and grab my phone. My hands are shaking as I dial 911.
Hi, this is 911 emergency. How can I help you today?
I whisper into the phone, explaining the situation to the operator. They're like, "Stay put, help's on the way." But they also say it might take a while 'cause of the storm. I'm crouched in the corner of my room, away from the door, just listening to every sound in the house. I can hear someone moving around downstairs, opening and closing drawers. I'm trying not to cry, but it's tough. The operator's voice is the only thing keeping me from totally losing it. Then I hear footsteps coming up the stairs, my heart's pounding like a drum. The footsteps stop right outside my door. There's this moment of dead silence. Then out of nowhere, the door handle starts to jiggle. I'm too scared to even breathe. The person tries the handle a few more times, then gives up and moves away. I'm just sitting there, not moving an inch until I hear police sirens. The footsteps rush downstairs, and a few minutes later, the cops show up. They find the back door busted open and the place a mess, but the intruder had taken off into the storm when they heard the sirens. The cops stayed outside until my parents got back. They never caught the guy, but they figured he was just looking for a place to crash and maybe swipe some stuff. That night totally changed me. I used to feel safe at home, but not after that. It took forever to get comfortable being alone again, but I got through it. Just goes to show, you never know what's going to happen, even in your own home. Alright, so I'm this 21-year-old guy living in this special village, right? It's for older folks or people with health issues, but you gotta be able to take care of yourself. Everyone's got their own little house, some with 1 bedroom, some with 2. My place? You walk in, there's the living room, dining room to the right, a path to the back porch, then the kitchen and a small hallway leading to the bathroom and bedroom. Oh, and there are closets in the living room and bedroom. Each house is kind of unique in its layout. Now let me spill about this wild thing that happened a couple of years back. I was hanging with friends during our social hour, and some were chatting about weird stuff happening at night, like knocking on doors and windows. One lady said someone even tried her door knob. We all thought it was probably just kids messing around from the nearby neighborhood. Our village is usually super chill and safe, so we didn't sweat it too much. Fast forward a few days, I had to go for physical therapy. I think I spaced out and forgot to lock my doors, but I wasn't stressing it. Our area is pretty secure. Even with the pandemic, our village is lively, with folks walking and chatting. It's like one big family here. So, I get back from therapy, totally wiped out, and crash for a long nap. Then I'm suddenly woken up by my neighbor, Eleanor. She's this sweet lady, like a second mom, who helps me set up my medical gear for the night. She used to be a nurse, and her husband Frank was a cop. They're pretty cool, and Eleanor even helped me convert to Catholicism a couple of years ago. During the day, we have staff to help with basic stuff, but a lot of retired nurses in the village lend a hand with medical care. It's a pretty tight-knit routine we've got. So I'm waking up from my nap and Eleanor's like, "Hey there, I'm here to help you out." But then she stops mid-sentence, grabs the IV bag, and heads over to my furnace. She tries to turn on the heat. She's all, "That's weird, your heat's not working. You can't sleep here without heat, not with your health. How about you crash at my place tonight?" I'm groggy from therapy and not really processing things, but I notice Eleanor's acting off. I've got a theater background, and I can usually tell when someone's putting on a show. She was good, but something was up. I felt nervous but decided to play along. I've got all my medical stuff near my travel bag, which fits everything. Eleanor packs it all up quick and helps me to the front door. I hear a noise from my walk-in closet and think it's just my cat, but with my health issues, getting scared is a no-go. It can mess with my breathing. Turns out Eleanor saw someone hiding in my closet when she was grabbing the IV bag. She made up the whole broken heater thing to get me out safe. I'm freaking out, wondering if that person was there the whole time I was gone or just snuck in. Then, out of nowhere, we see the man bolting out of my room, heading straight for the exit. Seeing this man running out of my room triggers this intense, sick feeling in my stomach. It's like everything inside me wants to come up. I'm filled with a barrage of questions and what-ifs. What would have happened if Eleanor hadn't seen that man? The thought alone sends shivers down my spine. So Eleanor gets me settled at her place, and I crash in the spare bedroom. But then, in the middle of the night, I wake up to tapping on the window. It's the guy from my closet. He's like, "I see you walking there. I'm coming in one way or another." I call for Eleanor and she wakes up Frank, who's still pretty intimidating even though he's retired. They both rush in. Frank's got his gun aimed at the window and Eleanor helps me hide in their master bedroom closet. I'm hooked up to my machines, totally freaked out and struggling to breathe. Eleanor's right there trying her best to calm me down. She's saying, "Take slow breaths, honey, slow breaths." But man, it's hard. My heart's racing like crazy, and every breath feels like a battle. Meanwhile, Frank's right outside the door, dealing with the whole mess. I can hear him yelling, his voice stern and commanding. He's shouting, "Get off my property, I'm warning you." His tone is fierce, the kind that tells you he's not messing around. Frank's a retired cop, and he's got that authoritative vibe that makes you listen. Then, amidst all the chaos, I hear the distant sound of sirens. The police are finally here. But by the time they show up, the creeper, the guy who's been terrorizing us, he's vanished into thin air. They can't find him anywhere. The cops are searching around, and they find these cracks in the window of the spare bedroom. It's like this guy was trying to break in or something. The whole situation is just surreal. I'm there trying to keep my breathing steady, while Eleanor's doing everything she can to help me. And outside, the police are combing the area, looking for any sign of this intruder. But he's gone, disappeared into the night, leaving us with nothing but a damaged window and a whole lot of unanswered questions. It's a scary thought, knowing that someone was out there watching us trying to get in. And now, even with the police involved, he's just gone. It leaves this uneasy feeling in the air, like we're not as safe as we thought we were. The whole ordeal has shaken us up, and now we're just trying to make sense of it all, wondering if we'll ever feel completely secure again. So there I am, this 24-year-old woman, living my usual quiet life in my cozy house. My routine's pretty standard. Work, home, dinner, and unwinding with some TV or a movie. It's Friday night, and I'm thinking of staying up a bit, watching a movie, though I often crash on the couch. I'm into this movie, it's around 8, and I slowly drift off. Then, suddenly, this sharp buzzing sound wakes me up. It's my phone, lighting up with a notification I don't recognize. I pick it up, and it's a Facebook message, which is odd because I rarely use Messenger. The message is from this guy, just a simple hello. His name seems familiar, but we're not close. I check his profile, one mutual friend, connected for about 4 months. I remember accepting his friend request, not thinking much of it. I reply with a polite hi, but it's strange to get a message so late. He responds quickly saying, "I love that movie too, we should watch it together." I glance at the window. It's dark, snowing heavily outside. I can't see anything, but I'm shaking, realizing someone's been watching me. Another beep from my phone, another message from him. I'm too scared to read it. I'm frozen in fear until the doorbell rings, making me jump. Panic sets in, tears streaming down my face as I dial 911. I explain the situation, and they tell me to lock myself in a room and wait. My phone keeps beeping with messages from him, now in all caps, demanding I open the door. Then, a message that chills me to the bone. "Never mind." Suddenly, I hear a soft bang from another part of the house. It's coming from the hallway near the kitchen, heading towards the basement. I rush to my bedroom, locking the door behind me. Another bang, something breaking. I'm crying, terrified, listening to the sounds of someone moving through the basement, then up the stairs. The basement door is always locked, but I fear he'll break through. The doorknob rattles, someone's pushing against it. Then, my phone rings. It's an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answer. A voice I don't recognize says, "Leave the house now through the back. It's not just him." My heart races. "Who the fuck is this? How the hell do you know what's happening?" I answered in a panic. Then he hung up. I'm torn between staying put and running. The front door knocks loudly. "Police, open up," I hear from outside. I hesitate, the unknown caller's warning echoing in my mind. But I decide to trust the police presence. I unlock the front door, revealing 2 officers. I quickly point them towards the basement. Guns drawn, they slowly enter the basement. I hear a commotion, then an abrupt silence. Finally, they emerge with the intruder, the same guy from Facebook caught red-handed. His excuse? He just wanted to chat. But who was on the phone? How did they know about the danger I was in? Since that message, I haven't received anything else. This all just happened a couple of weeks ago. I try to never be alone, always having a friend or family member with me. It's like I'm living in a constant state of fear, jumping at every unexpected sound. I hope things will get back to normal someday, but right now that seems like a dream far away.